Hello and welcome back to Kin Reads. I know it's been a while since we've been at Misery, but here we are again. Chapter 4. The snowstorm in which Paul had awakened the day after his expedition to the bathroom had gone on for 2 days. There had been at least 18 inches of new fall and heavy drifting. By the time the sun peered through the clouds again, Annie's Cherokee was nothing but a vague hump in the driveway. Now, however, the sun was out again and the sky was brilliant once more. The sun had heat as well as brilliance. He could feel it on his face and hands as he sat there. The icicles along the barn were dripping again. He thought briefly of his own car in the snow, and then picked up a piece of paper and rolled in the royal. He typed up the words Misery's Return in the upper left-hand corner, number 1 on the right. He banged the carriage return lever 4 or 5 times, centered the carriage, and typed chapter 1. He hit the keys harder than necessary so she would be sure to hear he was typing something at least. Now there was all white space below chapter 1, looking like a snowbank, which he could fall and die, smoothing frost. Africa. As long as they play fair, the bird came from Africa. There's a parachute under his seat. Africa. Now I must rent. He was drifting off and knew he shouldn't. If she could caught him cooping instead of writing, she would be mad. He let himself drift away. He was not dozing. He was in an odd way thinking, looking, searching. Searching for something, Polly? But that was obvious. The plane was in a power dive. He was searching for a parachute under the seat. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. When he found the parachute under the seat, it was fair. Maybe not all that realistic, but fair. For a couple of summers, his mother had sent him to a day camp at the Malden Community Center, and they had played this game. They sat in a circle, and the game was like Annie's chapter plays, and he almost always won. What was that game called? You could see 15 or 20 little boys and girls sitting in a circle in one shady corner of a playground, all of them wearing Malden Community Center t-shirts, all listening intently as counselor explained how the game was played. The name of the game was Can You? It really was just like the Republic cliffhangers. The game you played that was Can You, Polly, and that's the game now, isn't it? Yes, suppose it was. And Can You, the counselor, would start a story about this guy named Careless Corrigan. Careless was lost in the trackless jungles of South America. Suddenly he looks around and sees our lions behind him. Lions on either side of him, and by God, the lions ahead of him. Careless Corrigan is surrounded by lions, and they are starting to move in. It's only 5 in the afternoon, but there's no problem for these kitties as far as South American lions are concerned. That dinner at 8 shit is for goofballs. The counselor had a stopwatch, and Paul Sheldon's dozing line saw it with brilliant charity. Though he last held its honest silver weight in its hand more than 30 years ago. He could see the fine copper plate of the numbers, the smaller needle at the bottom, which recorded tenths of a second. He could see the brand name printed in tiny letters. Annex. The counselor would look around the circle and pick one of the day campers. Daniel, he would say, Can you? The moment Can you was out of his mouth, the counselor would click the stopwatch into motion. Daniel then had exactly 10 cents to go with the story. If he did not speak during those chosen 10 seconds, he had to leave the circle. But if he got careless away from the lions, the counselor would look at the circle again and ask the game other questions, one that recalled the current situation clearly to mind again. The question was, did he? The rules for this part of the game was Annie's exactly. Realism was not necessary, fairness was. Annie could say, for instance, luckily Careless had his Winchester with him and plenty of ammo, so she shot 3 of the lions and the rest ran away. In a case like that, Daniel did. He got the stopwatch and went with the story, ending his segment with Careless up in his hips in a pool of quicksand or something. Then he could watch someone else if we could and bang down the button on a stopwatch. But 10 seconds wasn't long, and it wasn't easy to get jammed up, easy to cheat. The Next kid might well say something like, just then the great big bird, an Andean vulture, I think, flew down. Careless grabbed its neck and made it pull out of the quicksand. When the counselor asked, did she, you raised your hand if you thought she had, left down if you thought she had blown it. In case of the Andean vulture, the kid would almost surely have been invited to leave the circle. Can you, Paul? Yeah, that's how I survived. That's how I became able to maintain homes in both New York and LA. And more rolling iron than there is in some used car lots. Because I can. That's not something to apologize for, god damn it. There are the guys out there who write a better prose line than I do, with a better understanding of what people are really like and what humanity is supposed to mean. Hell, I know that. But when the counselor asked did he about those guys, sometimes only a few people raise their hands. But they raise their hands for me or for misery, and in the end, I guess they're both the same. Can I? Yeah, you bet I can. There's a million things in the world I can't do. Couldn't hit a curveball, even back in high school. Can't fix a leaky faucet. Can't roller skate or make a chord on the guitar that sounds like anything but shit. I've tried twice to be married and couldn't do it either time. But if you want to take me away to scare me to involve either you cry or grin, yeah, I can bring it to you and keep bringing it until you holler uncle. I am able. I can. The typewriter's insolent gunslinger voice whispered from the deep in realm. Here we go, friends. There's a lot of two things, big tot and wife's space. Can you? Yes. Did he? No, he cheated. The misery's child, the doctor never came. May the rest of you forget what happened last week. But the stone idol never forgets. Paul has to leave the circle. Pardon me, please. Now I want to rinse. Now I must. It's the end of that chapter. See you later.